Hey, what's up guys? It's 𝗪cie_𝗰𝗶𝗹, and today we are going to talk kind of about how I do some of the stuff in my business. So in the last 3 months, I've done around $230K in sales. Around 28K of that was profit. Just kind of want to take you through how I look for new items to source. I'm going to kind of show you how I find items. I'm going to show you how I find them profitably once I've found them. And then I'm also going to show you how I keep track of the items that I've found so that I can find them again in the future. So basically, we're on a listing that I know people can sell from eBay. I do most of my purchasing from eBay and I sell it back on Amazon. If you want to be a little bit riskier, you can sell them as new, but I've done a lot of my sales with used items, and so that's what I primarily focus on. We're starting with this item because I know you can source it from eBay. Oftentimes a little bit difficult to find, but it's a good launch point to actually look at the other sellers who are selling this. Because what you can do, if you guys didn't know, and many of you guys probably do know, is you can go into a Amazon page, and from there you can see who's actually selling this item, and then once we look inside their stores, we can see what they're actually selling themselves. Oftentimes, sourcing off of a product that's really similar to what we're looking for is going to be a good move. So I'm going to go ahead and filter by prime. And also, I just want to hit this. It's going to take a long time to find your first several items. This is a weird analogy coming to my mind, but it's kind of like an ant house, an ant village, an ant civilization. At the very start, you're kind of just digging one hole and you kind of don't know where you are, don't know what you're doing. But once you start to kind of branch out and figure out things, like the sourcing, you can get around much faster and you can find more products faster. So at the start, you're kind of gonna just start with one product. Your database is gonna be completely empty. We'll show you how to fill in all this information here so that you can kind of fill in the points of the ant civilization. It gets much faster as you actually have some products and have some ideas to be looking out for. So I filtered by Prime because I sell mostly on Amazon Prime, FBA. So I guess nobody's selling this used Prime. That's interesting. So we're just gonna have to look at the used and see what these people are doing. So this guy has 12 ratings. I'd probably want to source someone a little bit bigger than that, but that might just be where we start. So the reason I would want to source someone a little bit smaller is because someone bigger like this, they are obviously moving a lot of volume. They probably have some kind of connection that I don't have, whether it's wholesale, whether it's liquidation, whether it's a business that completely sources just calculators and they have connections of people donating or selling them calculators. But someone who's doing lower volume, I mean, he still could be killing it. Like maybe he's new, I don't know. Like someone like this probably has less connections, and so we can probably find where they're sourcing from. So we're gonna go ahead and take a look at his store. And this is something I'd be very curious if anyone knows why this is. It looks like usually there's a storefront right here, and then from there you can go ahead and look at their storefront, but sometimes it doesn't show up. So I'd be very curious in the comments if anyone knows what that's about. Please let me know. But another way, we're kind of gonna improv here. So instead of looking at his store and there's no other used people, we're gonna go ahead and try another method of finding items, which is really helpful. You can sometimes, there's a couple different ways. I'm just gonna list off a bunch of different ways. You can just look at the variations. So there's this red one that we could look at. When you scroll to the top and lower on the page as well, it's not on the top right now, but basically there's often a few of them that are suggested that are very similar to this. So we're gonna go ahead and scroll down and see what's similar to this. So, I mean, this one is popping right up here. I mean, all these things are very similar things. So we're gonna go ahead and look and see if we can find some sellers who are selling this. And maybe we'll even take a look on eBay and see if we can source this profitably. And so before we start diving into this page, I'd like to say it's sometimes extremely hard to know what to even source. So like I would suggest sourcing something that you know a little bit about, have some kind of experience with, or at least are interested in, because when you're sourcing, you're going to end up spending a lot of time looking through different similar items. And so if you just hate the items, like if you're super bored of books, like don't source books, like you're going to quit if you are only sourcing stuff that you are completely bored with. But if it's something, if you like calculators, if you've had experience with them, like if you like electronics, if you like home and kitchen type stuff, if you like office supplies, if you like discontinued cassette players, if those like vintage type things are interesting to you, then maybe start to look into those. But for now, we're going to take a look at this product. We'll go into a little bit of analysis of this. We're kind of gonna hit it pretty quick because I want this to be more about sourcing and less about analyzing the stuff. But at a very basic level, rank really good. We're seeing it on seller amp as well. We're seeing it as a new buy box. We're seeing it as a used buy box. There's kind of a lot of sellers on it, but for this rank, that's fine. We see that, I mean, just looking at this, if you know how to read a Keepa, you can tell that there's certain times of the year that this sales rank is going completely to the floor. So it looks like, yeah, like August to September, the sales rank goes to the floor consistently. So what does that mean? It's a seasonal item, and like it also sells year round, and it's not so seasonal that the price just goes to the moon, but the sales velocity like really picks up. Yeah, so I mean that's just kind of a basic look at this. We probably want to source based off of the regular price because right now I'm filming and it's around August 11th. And so the price is going to not stay up here at used good 120. No, it's probably going to end up going back to around the 105 if it's a used good. Maybe we can get away with selling for 110. But yeah, by the time we send this in, it's not going to be textbook season or back to school season anymore. Definitely buy with historical data, not based on, oh, it's $125. Definitely purchase with trends. So at this point, we need to know what price we could even purchase this for and be profitable. Because if I just say, oh, it sells at 105, and then I purchase it for $90, and I'm like, sweet, like I'm gonna make $15 profit. Like, no man, you're not. Like, you're making nothing because there are fees. Most people know this, but if you're just starting out, like that's something to be aware of. Like, there are fees, so always enter in the cost that you're gonna purchase for. SellerAmp has a cool feature where you can program in what ROI you're looking for, and so you can just click this here. Mine is at 40% ROI. So 64.77 is going to be my 40% ROI. You could purchase for 40% ROI. You could purchase for 30% ROI. You could do only like really profitable items only that are extremely low risk, but you're going to spend a lot of time. And you could go for 100% ROIs. So like if you wanted to do that, you could just source them for $45. You're just going to be looking for a very long time. So what we're going to do is we're going to see if people are selling this for the right price. We're going to take a look and see if anyone is selling this for 30% ROI if we were to purchase this right now. So we are looking for anything below $69.50. Like we were saying before, I mostly source from eBay, and so what we can do here is we can just cut and paste. I mean, we can do this a couple ways. We can cut and paste the name. We can use the UPC. I kind of like to do both, but we're just going to go ahead and type that into eBay. And we'll probably edit that title. So I'd probably just say TI-84. I'd probably just say blue calculator. So I like to do two things when looking to see if the item's going to be profitable or not, or if we can source it profitably. Number one, I like to see what is available right now, and then I also like to see what's available in the past, because basically I I'm not necessarily wanting to make a purchase right now. I'm trying to find something that I can purchase over and over again for the next year. And so the way that I can do that is I can look at the history of the eBay solds to see if there are evidences that people are actually buying this at the right price off of eBay. So I'm going to look at the actives first. I'm guessing there's not going to be anything available because this is a really fast moving item on Amazon. So we're seeing a lot of cases here. Garbage. So we see an auction here, parts. Seeing the wrong one. So there's an auction that ends in 3 days. An auction, wrong type. Yeah, so right now, nothing is available for the right price. That's pretty normal on something that is $3,500 in office products. That's you're just not gonna find it like right away your first try. But what we can do here is we can look at the history of the last 3 months by hitting the sold items on the bottom left. And so we can still sort by lowest shipping. I mean, this one's parts. Good luck out with that. So we're seeing another model here. It's a very similar model, but not the same. This person just like struck gold. They bought it for $28, $10 shipping. So they paid 38 bucks. So if this person actually sold it on Amazon, he would make around $52. That is pretty cool to see, but what I'm looking for is there a pattern of this actually selling a lot for our right price? So I'm skipping all of these because these are completely different. It's a whole new ASIN. So that's parts, pre-owned, so $42, $45, $45, around 50 bucks, 52 bucks. So I mean, we're seeing this a few times at least. We do have to keep in mind this is over the course of 3 months, but all of these like last 8 people that we've seen are making money if they were to send this into Amazon. Like if he was to sell it for, purchase it for the 54 bucks, he's making 36 bucks, so 67% ROI. So we're seeing there is a pattern of these selling for the right price. It tends to get more and more common as we get more expensive, probably more in the $60 range, 60, 60, 61, 61, 61. So I mean, if we were to purchase this at 61, I mean, you guys kind of get the point. So cool. We see that this sells at least sometimes for a right price. So what I would usually do once I actually have something that actually sells for a generally right price is I would go ahead and put that information into a spreadsheet, because right now, as we just looked, there's none available. So we're gonna have to come back regularly and check to see if there are any available for the right price. So what I would do is I would cut and paste the ASIN. I would go to your Excel sheet and I'd paste that in there, and I'm not going to do it for the sake of the video, but just so that it's easier for you in the future, you can just say $105 is my list price if I source a used good. I need to purchase this at $69.50. That's going to be 40% ROI. And then if, actually, I'm gonna do this because, just to explain, if I do this, it'll be $21 profit. So whenever you're able to find this calculator for $69.50, and like we saw, there were over 10 solds that were under 61. There's 65, 65, 65, 65, and we're not even on the next page. You will be able to find this eventually if you look hard for this, and you'll make $21 if you're able to find this. And then just a basic, like how to guesstimate how many you could sell in a month, that's another part of it. So we see here that this is fast moving. We see here that there's 65 people on this listing. So we're splitting a fast moving listing with a lot of people. So what I like to do is I go on Jungle Scout, take a look at Keepa to understand what the average sales rank is. Because if I'm, this is a perfect example of this. Because if I just say, oh, it's 3,000 in office products right now, and it's going to be 3,000 forever. Like, no, man, it's not going to be 3,000 forever. It's actually probably more like 40,000, 30,000 on average. So we see that it's an average of 30,000, and this free app, you don't have to sign up, do anything. You just go to Jungle Scout Estimator. You type in the average rank, put in this, and you put in the category. This is going to give you a super basic understanding of how many sales per month this whole listing gets. Of course, nobody actually knows how many sales a listing gets. This is just a big ballpark. So 210 sales split between the 65 sellers. If you want to be really picky about it, you can actually go in here and look and see who's actually competitive and who's not. I lump the used people and the new people in the same category, and so you could we'd go through here and see that 36 people are competitive, and then you'd assume yourself is also competitive. So if there's 37 competitive offers, because the non-competitive people are not going to get sales, what you do is 210 divided by 37 is a ballpark of around 5 sales a month. So I like to be even more conservative and just cut that in half. That's just what I do. So I would just say I would test buy like 2 of these probably, just to be on the more conservative side, because I don't want to spend money on inventory that's just going to sit there forever. So that is how I would fill out the data for this, and I would go back on a regular basis and be looking for this item, because like we see here, there are people just like cleaning up with this item. There's items out there for sure that you can find more of on a more regular basis, but once you actually purchase this item, it should sell within a month for you, which is pretty cool. That's one item that we found. We're gonna go ahead and keep going, because the best way to be able to source is, like, ironically, I can storefront stock all day, but like if the items aren't available right now, you're not going to be able to purchase anything. So the best way is to actually build up this database for yourself. And then once you have 5, 10, 20 items like this that have a regular history of being sold on eBay for the right price, you can just go through and look all of them up, filtered by newly listed, and you'll be surprised what you end up finding. So we're going to go ahead and try to find item number 2. We also see here that this is the item, the type of item that we're looking for. So we're going to storefront stock these people because they're in the same business model as us. We want more of this. So I've seen this Grace person before. They're kind of massive. We're going to pass. Going to filter by used. Good old Grace, just killing it. Wow, again, these people are sold out. So here's something that we can do as well. I haven't seen too many people talk about this way of storefront stalking, but what you can do is you can go down to Keepa, and you can go to the data tab, and we can basically see everyone who has sold this item in the past, and then storefront stock their stores from there. So we're going to go to offers. We're going to filter by new, refurbished, off, include historical, and we'll kind of scroll down and see like who of these people have sold like a few of these. And I don't think this information is completely accurate. We're just looking for someone who so I mean, like, this is it's just not like super accurate and like not really helping. So we might just pick someone who's selling at like used good. So we'll just take a look at the first person. So deals worth delivering. And The review count 0. 1,000, 1,000, 1,000, thousands, thousands, thousands and thousands. There's a lot of big boys on this, but what about this? This person's 171, so they're a little bigger than what we're looking for, but I still have a good feeling about this seller. They're like one of the smaller ones on here, which is kind of nuts. That's probably a good reason to be conservative with our test buy, just to make sure that we actually get sales from here. So we can go to their storefront. I don't know why I don't do more of the whole looking at storefronts through Keepa, but I mean, we can look through all their stuff here. I'm kind of just loading this up. What we can do is we can kind of just hover over. You guys should see in the bottom right that there's a Keepa graph. Can kind of just take a look. I mean, this is a $200 item, sells very fast. Amazon's on the listing. There's a used market. Also, stuff is filtered by lowest rank first, and so the lowest rank stuff is most likely going to be harder to find profitably on eBay for the most part. So sometimes what I like to do is I like to scroll just a little bit down to maybe something that's like a 12,000 rank. I mean, this is something completely different. They probably got that out of a thrift store, Gaylord or something. But yeah, so what about this? I mean, I'm kind of curious about this. So we're gonna open it up on Amazon. Heck, if I find something good myself, like why shouldn't I source this in the future? But yeah, we have this cash register thing. The thing I'm fearing about this one, just right off the bat, is I don't love selling heavy items, especially heavy used items, because they're just going to be more likely to break. I really like to avoid stuff that is going to be, like, I don't want to ask for problems. So yeah, this one it's 21 pounds. So this one is probably really profitable, but it's gonna require like some hardcore packing and all that, so I kind of don't want to go there, so we're gonna pass. We have this Netgear thing, $100. We're probably gonna pass on that for now. I don't know much about the musical instruments category, but like, it's kind of crazy that a 39,000 rank is showing a Keepa that looks this low. So this is a really cheap router. And I don't necessarily love stuff that's this cheap when it comes to an electronic, because there's not going to be space for someone to ship it and get enough money for their item, and then me be able to make a profit on it when it's like 25 bucks. And again, I haven't talked about this much, but like, some of these, instead of just selling it used, you could purchase them purposely new and sell them. You just have to verify that it's new, and when you're shipping to a prep center, it's a little harder. But I mean, this one, even though it's used $25, it's more in the ballpark of 90 bucks new, so you could go after that one. It looks like this guy sells books as well. Ooh, that's a nice tanker. But books, video games, there's our trifecta. Interesting. Alright, so maybe we'll take a look at this radio. Doesn't look like the fastest item, but often electronics like this are a lot easier to find profitably. So we'll probably take a look at this and then wrap up the video, but we want to take a look and just see, like, if I were to send this item in, like, is it actually going to sell for me? IP alert is something that will pop up, and it'll give you a warning when a specific brand will sometimes give IP claims. And so if any of Sony's ASIN's listings gave an IP claim, then it'll show up for the brand. So what we need to do is like actually look at the Keepa to see if there's signs of IP complaints and see if the brand is actually selling the products. I've actually never seen Sony sell their own products on Amazon. They might have a store though, I'd be curious. But right away, like, looking at the rank, 135K in electronics, And looking at how many people are in the listing, I'm already feeling pretty bad about this one. But it's much higher than usual right now. But nobody's had a sale. Nobody's had a sale since the 28th. I don't like that. And like even in 3 months. I mean, it's like wriggling. Like you could get a sale. But like something like this, you're just not going to be able to go deep on at all. Like you'll probably buy one. And like you'll wait a month for it to sell and it'll sell. And then you can do that again if you want to. So we could just look and see if it's available. So we see that our buy box right now is around 57.50. We could also try and source this like new for 82 bucks. So like if it's in the package. And again, we still have the option that we could sell this as new. Something that is probably vintage like this is probably going to be less of an issue for us. So we could go ahead and look for those. So 58. Sell this for 57.50. 40% ROI is 32 bucks. This has a UPC, so we could just cut and paste this, put it into eBay. So really, no solds in the last 3 months. But that's why you don't just search by the UPC. You could also go like this and see what comes up instead. Yeah, so that's why you don't go by the UPC, because there's 71 solds. And we're seeing here that like people are purchasing this for the right price. And like very frequently too. Like 25 bucks. Again, this is an item that you're not going to go super deep on. Like one at a time, probably. But that's 20 bucks. So we're here. I mean, there's a lot of solds in our price range. It's cool. Ooh, original box. So if it's in the original box, you could probably sell it as like new, depending on like if it's in good, like really good condition or not. So I mean that we see that the like new is like 82 bucks. Yeah, like 82 bucks. So that person made good money. 82 bucks. What was that, like 30 bucks? That is a chunker. 38 bucks. Yeah. So we see here that like there's a history of these items selling right. I would feel like there's probably something available right now on something like this. Again, if you're watching this video and like several people see this, it might not be the best idea to purchase this right now, because this listing's kind of supporting as many people as it can support. Like if another like 5 people come on the listing, it's just not going to be the best, because like in the past this was like 40 bucks. And like also like looking at the Keepa, this black line down here, it's kind of at a higher level of how many sellers on the listing. Like it's higher than it was when it was at 40 bucks. So honestly, I would probably say that we're probably going to end up selling this for 40 bucks. Unless it doesn't tank. So I would purchase more conservatively with this. I mean, we found some that were under 21 bucks, but let's take a look. So yeah, here's one for 28. Again, this is not going to work right now unless you sell it for the 57.50. It should be 63% ROI. It's just not as much space on this. But again, what we can do, oh, also let's take a look for like new. Probably an open box. So what was open box back when there were a lot of sellers on this? Ooh, people were selling this for really expensive back, like 105. Even back here, 95. So maybe conservatively 95. So if you can get something in the box here, you're gonna end up making more money. So yeah, we're seeing something like this. Curious what this new other means. Is it sealed? Oh no, it's not sealed. So if it's unsealed like this, I would not sell it as new. So just kind of taking a look at the pictures. They have the manual, that's a big deal for like new. They have the box, that's good. They had the cord I saw. You could probably stretch this to be like new. I don't know if I necessarily want to. This is probably like a very good, it's so subjective. So $74. Still, this is a little bit too high for us. Yeah, because $74 is not what we're looking for here. So this would be another item that you'd go ahead and add it to the database. And I usually just put the list price for used good. But yeah, this is a realistic look at how sourcing from eBay to Amazon looks. What you really have to do is you really have to build out a big database of stuff and constantly check for these items to see if they're in stock. Because just because it's not in stock right now doesn't mean that there's not profit to be made. You really got to build up a big database, continue storefront stalking people who are in this type of category, build it up, and eventually you'll get that one that you're able to send in, and you'll make that profit for the month, and then you'll get those two that you're able to send in for $21 profit. And currently right now I have a big database of probably 300 to 400 items that I look for on a regular basis. And once you've looked for that many items, you can actually find some items that you can go really deep on and actually make a lot of money from, because those items are out there, but you actually have to spend the time and source and look for those types of items. So if this video was helpful to you and to your business, then feel free to help me out by subscribing to the channel. If you have any questions, send me a message on Instagram and I'll get right back to you. Have a great day. Bye.